I have been talking to organizations about their data and the applications they're using for years now. And every time I walk into any meeting, the first thing that anybody wants to talk about, who knows anything about data, is, oh, how are we not going to lose any of our data, right? How are we going to make sure that the users from this system are also in this system? How are we going to make sure that our users don't have to log in multiple times when they come to our website? And we really took all of that, all of those experiences to heart and wanted to make sure that we were heading all that off at the pass. So what we've done is we've put together a real strategy to make sure that Seeds can be very, very easily integrated into your website. It can be very, very easily integrated into all of the back-end technology that you're building, and that it provides a seamless experience for all of your volunteers so that they don't have to worry about, oh, I need to remember the password for this system, and then there's another password for this system. And to help me talk about that, I want to bring up Dan Motzenbecker, who's the lead Seeds engineer. So for us, we've kind of broken down our integration strategies into sort of 5 points, and I'll kind of go through them. The first one is something that I think most, is sort of an expectation of almost any technology that's being built now, and that is that the service offer a full REST API so that the client can get access to their data. And we've taken that one step further. In fact, the Seeds application is actually 2 applications. There's a back-end application that serves a REST API to the front-end application. And what that means is that the client has just as much access to their data as Seeds itself has the data, which is really powerful. And that's really the position that we wanted to come from, where every single client felt like they had sort of total access to all of their information. And so what that means that is if the client wanted to do something like pull a list of all the events onto the front page of their homepage, they'd be able to do that very easily. If they wanted to find who the most, who ran the best house meetings, who had run the most house meetings, and send a special email to them from their mailer, they'd be able to do that. And those are relatively simple things, but you know what? If they wanted to, the REST API is complete enough that if they wanted to build an entirely new interface for Seeds, they'd be able to do that as well. So we've really worked very hard to make sure that we have a very complete API there. The second piece is a little bit different, something we're really proud of, which is our Stream API. And that's an event-based real-time stream of every activity that happens on Seeds, and any authenticated API user can hook into that. They can kind of listen to that stream, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what that looks like now.
Yeah, so as Aharon said, we have an active way to consume your data via the RESTful API. If you wanted, you could make a query to get the 20 most recent user signups. You could do that via the RESTful API, or you could passively consume that data as it happens. So just as an example, we have an EC2 instance here where we've built a very simple app, which is like one your campaign might build. So I'm going to start that up. So now our very simple app that you might build for your campaign is listening to events as they happen. So as users are on the site and as they perform events, they happen immediately, as Aharon just did on his iPad. They're pushed to your server. Your data is free and open. And he just posted an announcement right here. Streams are awesome. And if you wanted, you could react to that. Yeah. You could react to that. You could send that off in an email. You could do whatever you want. It happens immediately, and it's a passive way of consuming all the data on your Seeds instance.
So this is going to be really great when that question comes up of, oh, like somebody just signed into our Seeds instance. How do we make sure that that individual user is also in our CMS, right? And they're also they're getting our emails. Well, you can write a very simple program, which is what I'm going to talk about next, called a Sprout, which does just this, right? It consumes the Seeds API and then pushes to those other systems. So let's say you use ActionKit as your CMS. Well, you can write a very simple Sprout, which is something we're going to provide open source to all of our users, that do just that. They're tiny pieces of software, middleware applications that consume the Seeds Stream API and push to other applications' API endpoints. So whether or not you use NGP Van, whether or not you use ActionKit, whether or not you use Salsa, we're going to be able to hook into all of those systems very, very easily. Those are sprouts. The next thing I want to talk about is about how terrible it is as a user when you're working with an organization and you have to sign in to 6 different systems and you have different passwords for each and every one. Well, we felt that from the beginning, as the piece of technology that was sort of most coupled with your identity as sort of a social network, signing into an action center, a social community, that we were in the best position to sort of provide OAuth services to other applications. So Seeds was built from the beginning to be an OAuth provider. What that means is that once users log into Seeds, other applications will be able to gain access to the authenticated user from the Seeds system. So if you need to navigate then into a call tool, you'll be able to do that without having to log in again. It'll already know who you are. If you need to go and then you want to sign a petition, that's also part of the organization's set of apps. You're going to be able to do that as well, which we think is going to make life a lot easier and make campaigns really want to integrate Seeds very deeply into their website, so that once these users are signing into their website, which is how it will feel, they're able to get access to the complete array of sort of the campaign apps. And the last thing I'll talk about is sort of personalization and what we call sort of prefabs, which are short snippets of code that you can drop into your website to provide sort of a unique experience to each individual user. So I'll show you a little bit what I mean. We thought that we could take all of the data, the great data that Seeds was collecting about which users are making a lot of calls, and which users are raising a lot of money, and which users are signing up to a lot of events, and be able to provide them right from the homepage of your website with sort of personalized prompts about what they should do next, right? So if you host a lot of events and you have a whole lot of new event signups to your events, well, you're going to come to the homepage and it's going to say, hey, you want to see more about your event signups. If you just hit your fundraising goal for last month but haven't set a goal for the next month, it's going to ask you to do that there. And by doing that, we're really hoping to prompt supporters into taking more action and helping your campaign move forward. So sort of the refrain, if this was a song, would be that we're really working hard to provide every campaign with the same great set of tools that only the big campaigns with the huge budgets are able to access now. I'm going to talk real quick about the technology behind it, if anybody out there is interested. It's a single-page web app, which means that you only have to load the page one time. All the data is loaded right from the get-go. If there's anything else that needs to be loaded, it's loaded very quietly in the background. You won't even notice it. As I mentioned, it's actually 2 applications. There's a back-end Node.js application that serves a RESTful API to the front-end application. The client-side application is a Backbone.js application. We're using MongoDB, which is fast, and we're using a Redis caching layer, which makes it even faster. All right, so before I wrap up, I want to tell you what I think is the most exciting thing about Seeds, and that is that we're going to be offering it for only $99 a month to any campaign that wants to use it, which we think is a really fantastic price point for any campaign out there, no matter how small, whether or not it's a state senate race, a state house race, whether or not they're a mayoral race for a town of 10,000, or a dog catcher in maybe a slightly larger town. But we're really excited to get it out there and try and get it to campaigns all the way up and down the ballot. We think it's a phenomenal feature set, and we think it's a heck of a lot better than sort of your standard run-of-the-mill static form. So that's Seeds, and I hope you guys, I want to thank you all for coming. And if you have any questions or you want to find out more, you can visit seeds.me, which we're launching today. So thanks a lot, guys.